What an exciting opportunity it is to be here as part of this inaugural event. This venue to embrace, encourage, and empower all of us. I want to thank the teams that put this on, the command leadership that sponsored 2 days of time out to encourage each other. So, you're looking at me, I want you to look around the room right now. Look at each other. Come on, look at the folks on your table. Don't you look awesome this morning? This group inspires me. Look, I'm proud of the strides that we've made in our Air Force to attract such amazing talent in this room. You know, we think of ourselves as that innovative service, the one that routinely demonstrates our ability to embrace change, to forge ahead, and create new futures. Well, guess what? You are part of the command that creates new futures. You are the new future command. The need for your leadership comes at a pivotal time right now as we shift to fully implement our national defense strategy. And you are absolutely a key part of this transformation. You perform your wartime mission each and every day. You're increasing our warfighting capabilities faster and smarter. You're leading the Department of Defense in your ability to incorporate new technologies effectively. Look at you, shaving off 100 years of program time, getting us the capabilities faster, putting on multiple pitch days, coming up with creative contracting, one-page contracts, pitch days, designing consortiums. You're getting after it. You're crushing it. 5 years ago, would you have imagined that we've come this far in those new ideas? These results, they take strong leadership and true change. And change is only accelerating. Opportunities abound for those who are courageous enough to step out and take them. Like our new secretary. Four female service secretaries, 3 consecutively. Sheila Wilnow, Deb James, Heather Wilson, and now Barbara Barrett. And in between, the 4 months in between 2 of them, we had Miss Lisa Disbrow. And then we had Matt Donovan, our current undersecretary. Take a look at that lineup. Who's the odd man out now? 2 AFMC commanders, Janet Wolfenbarger and Ellen Palankowski. As the most technical military service, these leaders all had STEM backgrounds. Is this our good fortune here? Is this a reflection of American women leadership nationally? Or is this an anomaly? And why do we care? Today I'm going to talk about attracting and retaining talent to ensure that we get the Air Force we need. I'm going to talk a little bit about overcoming self-doubt. I'm going to talk about the importance of networking, and I'm going to end up with a challenge. And then I'll open up for some questions. So, let's talk about women in the workplace. The last census from 2015, women filled 47% of the jobs in the United States. The Air Force has about 30% civilian women and about 22% blue suit airmen that are women. We've come a long way from when I started. It was about 10%. And we're shifting to become more representative of the nation that we serve. So, somewhat good news in the aggregate, but we are not there yet, especially at the senior level ranks. Active duty officers, see a few of you out there. Stand up if you're in the 10 to 12 year group, okay? 07 or 09 to 11, stand up if you're in the 10 to 12 year group in service right now. Okay, got a few, come on, good, good. All right. These are the years, now stand up, get back up. Get back up. This is the year group right now that I'm targeting. This is the time when a lot of females make a decision to hang up the uniform. Okay? So everybody look at them and smile. Say, all together now, we need you. We need you. Now sit down. All right. One more time. GS 11 to 13s and equivalents. Where are my GS 11 and 13s? This is the heart of the envelope right here. Stand up, please. Right now, 33% of this year group is female, which is pretty awesome. Heart of the envelope, making it happen. Here's the problem. When you decide or not to move on to GS 1415, we will lose 10%. We'll drop down to 23% women. We'll go from 33% women, we're really getting after it, to 23% women. So everybody look at them and repeat after me. We need you. All right, let's sit down. All right, so how do I close the gap? We got to wrap our arms around you. We have to ensure you have the right incentives to keep you in and the right talent development opportunities for you to grow and thrive in our Air Force. Why? We need you at the senior leadership level. Look, I had the same struggles at the 10-year point. What kept me in? It was a renewed sense of purpose and an understanding that there was a path to senior leadership for me. With the help of a senior leader who intervened, I'm still here. So when we talk about threats in the military, we normally talk about state and nation-state threats getting after us. In this case, the threat is that our Air Force will not succeed in the future if we do not hire, retain, and cultivate talented women and minorities at a greater rate. As the chief would say, and he said multiple times, diversity is a warfighting imperative. Diversity also drives innovation. I will say one unnamed MAGCOM commander, not John Bunch, but one unnamed MAGCOM commander, one on the record, that he had a conference and they were doing some innovative work, pitch days and whatnot, and the most innovative units that came forward, by far, were medical and intel. Is there a surprise that we have the most amount of females in medical and intel units? Questions. So we've demonstrated that we are capable to lead at all levels in the service. So what will it take to inspire women to stay with the brand, to make a difference at the more senior levels where, frankly, we influence the policy, the guidance, and the culture of the unit? So I'm anxious to get some feedback from you at the end on that. All right, our focus today is on building the Air Force we need. Connecting the Joint Force for multi-domain operations, dominating space, generating combat power, and building a logistics posture that we will be able to fight through in a war. But to get the Air Force we need the talented people. We thrive when we have a diversity of thought and culture. But we attract and retain when we are inclusive. Industry is ahead of us on this. What do I mean here? Early in my career, women were accepted into combat roles. And that was that. We were accepted. It was law. And the men understood that we could perform at the same levels in a highly stressed combat role. Okay, but when I walked in the flight room, it still didn't feel like an open, transparent team of combat warriors, right? I didn't feel like I could really rightly interject into the discussion. My strategy to succeed was simply to outstick them in everything so that in some way I would gain informal leader status and be known as an expert. And therefore, I deserve their respect. That was my plan. Today, a woman walks into the flight room and she feels included. The atmosphere is just different. It's an open, collaborative environment where our participation is not merely valued, it is sought out across the table. We still have frank feedback, especially in the flying world, but that feedback is focused on performance and not the person. We have leveled the playing field in many areas. So that's the difference between being accepted and being included. And you can feel it the moment you enter the workplace. That's what we're shooting for. That's what industry is demanding and our millennials are demanding. So we have a series of initiatives to get better on diversity and inclusion standpoint. I'm going to talk about a couple of them. One of them was to increase the candidate pool for female officer applicants from 25% to 30%. You can't shoot for actual candidates, but we can shoot for the pool. And we actually achieved that at the Academy, where we went to 30% in the class year 2022 of applicants applying for the pool. We're not yet there yet for ROTC, but we're starting to move some of the needles. We've charged our officer, enlisted, and civilian developmental teams with conducting a barrier analysis to see where we're having some issues, where things are not as transparent, to try to level the playing field. Anything that would prevent our big A airmen from achieving their absolute potential, what are those barriers? Civilian hiring panels have been established to increase transparency in the selection process, again, to establish a level playing field, to maximize our diversity and inclusion across the force. Panels are mandatory for all GS 14 and 15 actions. So, some positive steps. But of course, we realize that building a strong warfighter corps, including our officers enlisted, is necessary but not sufficient to ensure that the Air Force is prepared to meet our future challenges. So we have several civilian talent management changes underway. We have several developmental opportunities for our civilians through developmental as in basic, intermediate, and senior level, or through opportunities to attend AFIT or other schools to get advanced academic degrees. So we're continuing to add to that list with creative opportunities to go out there with industry and whatnot. And in the Air Force, we also have a unique resource. We have an authority that allows us to use our central salary account to provide salaries for the pathway interns, palace acquirers, career broadeners, and the Premier College Intern Program. We are aggressively using this to get after our young talent. We also have the ability to leverage the account for incentives such as relocation expenses, recruitment, and student loan repayment. We also can apply monetary awards to first-time recruits. So it's a portfolio, and we're trying to expand that portfolio because we've got to meet people where they are. Now, when I think development, I think mentorship. I really like the AFMC mentorship program that you all have started here. It's still a little young, but it really promises to be powerful, but it requires commitment by you and the mentor to meet and to take action on those plans. But it really can be very powerful when put together. But even with a solid development plan, you still have obstacles to overcome. So let me venture into an area that's going to make you uncomfortable. Why, despite obvious success, do some have continued feelings of inadequacy, like they're a fraud, and that would be somehow they would be found out? This is called imposter syndrome. So what does that mean? People who listen to that little voice inside of them that constantly criticizes and questions their abilities. It makes you feel inadequate, even though you have objectively been proven to be capable and competent in what you do. They attribute their success not to their own ability, but to external factors, such as timing or luck. There is something to be said about being humble. This is not that. Let me break it down for you. This is the feeling that others believe that you are not good enough on the job, for the promotion, for that leadership position. Do you think men even question that they got on the project or the project lead because they were the only male candidate on the slate? Not so much. Do you think that they believe they were selected because they had a friend on the board? Never even crossed their mind. So why do women strive to be the perfect example of someone balancing career and family goals? And this is an area, by the way, that you don't want to really look at Facebook, because that's almost fake news. That's not really real. That's half of a person's life is on Facebook, and it's the positive side, right? Look, you work hard at every task. I mean, that's how you prove yourself, right? I mean, that's how I grew up. Just ignore the comments. Be better than everybody else. And by trying to be perfect, you become confident and comfortable in your current position. And consequently, you do not have the desire or the energy to want to progress beyond that. I mean, who wants to risk failure at the next level? I'm pretty comfortable here and I've got it managed. Imposter syndrome increases anxiety, increases internal pressures, and causes you to not live up to your potential. And perhaps worse, It robs you of the joy of your day-to-day successes. How do you get off this merry-go-round? It starts by recognizing that these feelings are normal. And men have them too. But frankly, they don't listen to their inner voice as well as we do, right? To our detriment in this case. I fought with these feelings at times during my career, and sometimes it can take actual intervention to put you back on path. Imperfection is not incompetence. Think of it another way. Self-doubt will rob your unit and your people of the very best talent. It shortchanges our mission. Each leader brings something different to the table, a key piece. And with the pace of change in our world, we're doing a disservice if we strive to be the perfect clone of the person we're replacing. If that little voice is holding you back, talk to someone you trust about your unique capabilities. Getting honest feedback is key to combating the imposter, and that's why mentorship is so important. You are perfectly capable of achieving your own goals. You grow up thinking that you can do anything. When did that change? When you were told you couldn't, subtly through TV shows, social media, or directly by men and women who didn't understand your talents and your passion. Ask yourself, what limitations, real or imposed by yourself, are truly stopping me from achieving my goals? You might be surprised to learn that most, if not all, limitations are self-imposed or learned societal limitations that you accepted as the truth. Trust me, there are plenty of obstacles in life's way. You don't need to make yourself one of them. All right, so let's be truthful. How many of us were selected for an opportunity that we didn't think we were ready for? A little show of hands. Okay, we're not alone, right? And for those of you who didn't raise your hand, we didn't challenge you hard enough. Just saying. It's okay to be a little bit nervous. That's human nature. You don't have to be perfect on day one, but I need you to be courageous and confident. So there I was, pushed to the end of the table with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs' staff in my new position as policy advisor for the European theater, for Russia and Ukraine included. This occurred about 2 months prior to Russia's little green men started invading Crimea. This was a pivotal moment in our relationships with Russia, our competitor. And the focus of the day's meeting was on providing policy options for the Secretary of Defense. The chairman looked at me and asked me what I thought. So without missing a beat, I laid out a detailed description of events that are occurring on the ground, what I thought the political situation was, my assessment, and my recommendations. Now, at 2 months in the job, I'm a little stressed. I'm doubting myself, and I didn't have a previous depth of knowledge about Russia and Ukraine politics and what was going on. And at this moment, I am having a surreal experience. I see myself floating outside myself, watching myself talk to the chairman and wondering, who is that person and what is she saying? Where did she get that, right? The chairman asked me a few questions, agreed on my assessment and approach. We codified that and sent it to the Secretary of Defense. Wow, that was a powerful moment for me. You know, when I took over that position, I thought nothing serious ever really happened in the European theater, and I figured I'd be spending time in Belgium drinking wine, talking about some small NATO policy, right? I never predicted this turn of events. And I certainly didn't think that I was good enough at that time in my career to provide the gravity of that advice at that time. I should have known better. Of course I was good enough. I did my research, I knew the AOR, and I earned my seat at that table. My point is, don't ever dwell on not being good enough. Simply do your best. I've had experience where I've questioned why I was even picked for a job. So one aspect I often fail to realize is that sometimes others see potential in you that you do not or will not see in yourself. Trust your leadership's judgment. They know your work and they know what you're capable of. Trusting that others see something in you can seem like a leap. But I tell you, there's a way to make that not so scary. First, women leaders, look, we all face similar struggles and challenges. But sometimes we're just not great at talking about it. So I encourage the women professionals here today to do something about it, to do something about having the lack of candid conversations we have with each other in the workplace. Look, we should reach out and support each other. We should be open about the experiences that we have had, both professional and personal, and build on our networks. By the way, this is how we make the mission better. We're not competing against each other. We're in a high-stakes competition with China and Russia. We have a common goal. When I was a lieutenant and even a young captain, I essentially avoided any female or diversity groups. Didn't go to them. Why? The first time you put a meeting on the scheduling board that you're going to, and as a lieutenant and a flying unit, you have your little name with a little puck, and it says you're going to a meeting for 1 hour somewhere, and everybody gets to see it when you walk in. This is Jackie's schedule for the day. So I would get comments when I went to a women's outlet, and the comments would be something like, well, I wish I got to go to a white male networking group. Duh! This squadron is a white male networking group. I have to go away to see people that, So, all right, so I didn't actually say that out loud. I wish I would have if I didn't have the confidence as a lieutenant or a young captain to do that with a bunch of majors and lieutenant colonels. And frankly, I just tried to fit in, right? That's what we did. So at that time, I didn't feel like I needed a network to achieve my goals. I could do it myself. Yet another time that I was wrong. I didn't understand the purpose of the groups, and I missed out. These various forums provide an opportunity to grow in a safe space, to directly learn from the experiences of others, and to develop a support network for current and future jobs. The connections you build in life not only support your aspirations, but they confirm what is possible. You get to see what the possible is because you meet people that have done these things. They provide opportunities you would not have had otherwise, even if you were the best person in the squadron. Because sometimes life is just about showing up at the right place and the right time and striking up a conversation with a stranger. That said, someone can open the door, but only you can courageously walk through it. I tell those that I mentor that as opportunities align for you, there are no guarantees for future progression. Just be confident in your abilities, enjoy the challenge, and give it everything you have. So here's what I need you to do. First of all, I need you to inspire the next generation to join the fight in our Air Force.
The critics tell us we just can't compete. We're too far behind. We just don't have what it takes. The naysayers tell us we just don't measure up. The hurdles are too high. The challenges too overwhelming. But there are those who've heard it all before, and they've proved the critics wrong. It wasn't easy. It didn't happen overnight. But through dogged perseverance, unwavering dedication, and unsurpassed competence, they proved them wrong. We stand on their shoulders, and we're proving the critics wrong. Again. America derives its strength from its diversity. And we're at our best when we draw from the talents of all parts of our society. The United States Air Force works collaboratively to attract, recruit, develop, mentor, and retain individuals from the widest range of knowledge, skills, and backgrounds. Because when we embrace the strengths, perspectives, and capabilities of our brightest young minds and inspire them to reach their fullest potential, we reaffirm America's role as the world's greatest engine of scientific discovery and technological innovation. Our future depends on it. Who inspired you? And who will you inspire?
I love that video. Look, the majority of young women today do not have the exposure to military and government civilian professionals necessary to picture themselves doing something worthwhile in our service. In the 80s, when I joined, we had about 18% of the adults in the United States were veterans. We're now about half that, about 7%. And at the time, I didn't know that civilians served. But how many know that from around here know Google and Netflix and Amazon? Flip the coin. If you're not in this area in Ohio, how many people know that AFMC exists? And that there are over 68,000 civilian employees here. AFMC's budget was about $70 billion. That was roughly 45% of our Air Force budget at AFMC. And if this was ranked in the Fortune 500 companies, you'd be about 46th on the list of a Fortune 500 company. You are engaged in Fortune 500 level work, and people don't know it. Like I said earlier, if we don't recruit across a wide base of talent and at greater rates, it'll be a threat to the Air Force we need. Especially in light of an aging workforce here, where as much as 50% of the 30,000 employees at Wright-Pat are nearing the end of their careers. And there are additional jobs coming this way, about 5,000 more in the next 7 years. There's no better time to recruit women in the workforce. We should not be satisfied with 30% civilians in our workforce because it's not getting enough of our very best talent to the senior levels. My motto would be we're hiring women professionals right here at Wright-Pat. So get out there by being an active recruiter. Visit your high school. Visit college campuses, your own old college campus. Speak about your experiences while highlighting the opportunities of a career civil service. You can give the young women the inspiration where they begin to see themselves in these roles, chasing after their passions and making a difference. To conclude, you're part of the Air Force we need. Accomplished leaders of character who happen to be women, providing winning capabilities across our force. But this nation is facing increased challenges that will require you to continue to use your unique skills to overcome. We must embrace who we are, be confident in our abilities while opening doors for our mentees and bringing in new recruits. We need to encourage each other to achieve our goals, and we should empower each other to excel at the mission. That means we don't remain silent. We fight the imposter, we become the champion, and we get out there and roar.